Now we're on Facebook or whatever it is. I think we're on Tinder here, aren't we, Michael? Or are we on one of your dating
if I
apps?
saw you, I would definitely swipe left, big boy.
Exactly. No, you'd swipe right.
Either way, I'd be swiping you.
Oh, man.
Okay, here we go.
Hey, this is Dr. Buzz with Buckeye Physical Medicine and Rehab, Buckeye PMR.com's website. Check it out. I'm here today with Jake Ballard. What's up, Jake?
Dr. Buzz, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
No, thanks for coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not used to people being taller than me. How tall are you?
I'm 6'7".
Yeah, okay, so I feel short today. But anyways, we're going to talk a little bit about Ohio State football, of course.
Yeah.
And we're also going to talk about some concussion treatments, some protocols that we're doing here in Columbus, and the results you've seen and some of your friends have seen. I think it's really important. CTE is a huge problem, and more people have it than realize it, and there are some good treatment options out there now that you really don't hear about, so I definitely want to focus on that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're going to cut the break, and we'll be right back.
Okay, let's start rolling again. Here we go.
Hey, this is Dr. Buzz with Buckeye Physical Medicine and Rehab. I'm here today with Jake. What's up, Jake?
How's it going?
So Jake Ballard, you played at OSU when?
I was at Ohio State from 2006 to 2009. Went out with a nice win in the Rose Bowl against the Oregon Ducks in 2010.
Yeah. So you played for Tressel?
Yep, played for Tress. Great man, great coach, and was very lucky to have him there for all 4 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then you went on to play in the NFL?
Yeah, I was undrafted by the New York Giants in 2010. Was up and down off the practice squad my first year. Then,
Who was your coach there? You were
Coach Coughlin, Tom Coughlin.
How was he?
Oh, another great coach, and he was very similar to Coach Tressel, but he was able to chew you out a little more than Tress did. But I'd go to battle for Coach Coughlin.
Did Tress ever get mad?
Tress got mad, but he was able to control himself and contain himself very, very well, and he never really cussed. So if he ever dropped a cuss word, it was business. And then the best part was it'd always be at halftime. So then he'd come in after the game. Most of the time after we won, he'd be like, "Man, played great. Sorry, I lost my cool at halftime there."
That's
It was just really funny.
And they on that Giants team, you had a couple other good tight ends on that team.
Well, you're talking about the Patriots.
Patriots. Sorry.
So in 2010 I was with the Giants. In 2011 I started all year, and we ended up winning the Super Bowl versus the Patriots.
Where's your ring?
I did not bring it. I don't wear it very much. I probably should have brought it. Sorry about that. But I'll bring it in sometime soon.
Okay.
But yeah, when I was in New England, I played with a ton of great tight ends. Interesting room of characters. At one point in the season, it was myself, Rob Gronkowski, Aaron Hernandez, Kellen Winslow Jr., Vizante Shenko, and Dan Fells, and Michael Homenau-Inui. 3 of those guys were on IR, including myself, but that's why we had so many tight ends. We used to joke about saying Belichick was just trying to grab all the good tight ends in the league and keep them all for himself.
Yeah, I mean, if you had those guys in, how can you can't cover all those?
Yeah, you can't cover all of them. And I don't know how you'd be able to keep 7 active guys on the roster anyway.
And how was he as a coach? We just had it's so different, right?
Yeah, Belichick was all business all the time. Football genius, and he was there to work. And every once in a while, he'd give you a little glimpse of his personality. But most of the time, it was right here to work and do your job and just get better at your craft.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit today too. Let's talk about what you're doing now. So you're in Columbus now. Let's talk about what's Jake doing.
I moved back in 2014. Got into residential real estate. Been doing that for the last 4 or 5 years, helping people sell and buy all over in Columbus. And also have a land development project up off Africa Road in Olentangy Schools, where we're developing land into 18 residential lots and retail them out to the clients, consumers, or builders.
What's the name of the neighborhood?
It's called Sycamore Trails. Yeah.
What price point?
Well, we're just selling the lots, and they're half acre up to acre lots, and they're priced between $170 and $255.
That's a big piece of property, though.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Just for the lots. I mean, and you can bring your own builder, which is really hard to do in Columbus, Ohio.
Very nice. Are those available for sale now?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, we've got 4 taken down already. So, and we just put the roads in 2 weeks ago.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah,
So when are they breaking the ground?
Oh, we're completely done with construction. We're actually getting recorded at the end of the year, and we'll be ready to close lots.
If someone wanted to get with you for real estate, how does someone find you?
You can find me on Facebook or Google and Jake Ballard, Howard Hanna, and find all my contact information. And or on Facebook, Instagram, I'm all over the place.
Do you drive everyone around in that big truck you come here in today?
Every once in a while, I'll drive around. It depends on the weather.
Jake drives like a big F-250.
I got an F-350.
Sorry.
Oh no, you're good. There really wasn't that big of a price difference. So I was like, why not get the F-350? But I pull some heavy equipment every once in a while, so I need to be able to pull heavy track steers and a heavy trailer.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Now, I want to talk a little bit about the CTE or concussions, and it's a huge problem.
Yeah.
And not just in football, but in multiple sports. But and it's kind of ironic. You played with Aaron Hernandez, who after the fact they're saying that was a huge.
Yeah, they said he had the most progressed CTE in anybody at his age that they've discovered at that point in time. And Aaron, that whole story with Aaron is a very sad story from all parties. But he was just a very troubled kid, and it seemed like he was very bipolar. And it seems like the CTE definitely affected his decision making and rationale and just his emotion from day to day.
You said something we talked a little bit before the show. You said he was probably the most gifted athlete.
Oh, Aaron was without a doubt the most gifted athlete I've ever seen, from his speed to his football IQ. I mean, he was able to play all the positions in the field just because he knew the offense, and it was a pretty complicated offense in New England. But he's just super explosive, fast, and just pound for pound, probably also one of the strongest guys I've ever been around.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But you said you even noticed that behavior when you're there, like, because you played with Gronk too.
Yeah.
You said Gronk's kind of what you see.
What you see with Gronk on the field or in interviews is what you get. Very hard worker, kind of a meathead, but smart football player, and he's obviously been Tom Brady's go-to guy for years. But Aaron, it just depended what kind of mood he was in from day to day. I was locker mates with them, was in a lot of meeting rooms with them. Aaron, I didn't mind Aaron, right? I mean, in football, you run into a lot of guys who are mean or kind of nasty to be around, but you don't expect them to be doing the things that Aaron was doing off the field, and obviously killing people, which is just crazy to even talk or think about it still.
You had no idea, so you just thought he was just a guy.
No idea, just another guy who had a big personality. You know what I mean?
Wow. So how were you diagnosed with CTE? And what were your symptoms, I guess? It start off, like, when did you first start noticing? Like, is it something you noticed when you were in college? Is it something?
I think I really didn't start noticing certain aspects until I was out of football. I just felt like I never really had a lot of energy from day to day. It didn't matter what I ate, how I worked out, how much I slept. I would just always be dragging. And it wouldn't matter how many coffees I drank or energy drinks I drank. I'd be dragging. Sometimes I'd have like a fuzziness in my head. That's probably the best way I can describe it. I feel like something was weighing on my mind, but really there wasn't anything. I had a hard time really gaining muscle or losing fat, which is really weird for a guy, in my position, who I lift 4, 5, 6 times a week, and also I'm 30 years old. I'm supposed to be the prime of my physical abilities. And then I'd also kind of I'd have mood swings, get really angry over just stuff that didn't matter. Not necessarily like any fights, but like, I don't know, if I'm working in my house and break something, or if I lose my wallet. And then also I'd be like, if I lose my wallet, did I lose my wallet because I can't remember where I put it because I'm a normal person, or is that because of all the football player and all the hits to the head that I've had in my life? So, and I really started noticing that probably a year and a half ago, I'd say.
Really? So you were out of football and you just felt like more forgetful, lack of energy.
Right.
A little more edgy.
Just like, a little edgy, just no drive, I guess. Just all the way around, whether that was, with work or in the weight room or just like day-to-day life.
Right.
Yeah.
So what happened? So you went and got...
So I actually ran into a doctor, Dr. Richard Cooper. I had a random listing appointment at his house and met his wife, and had no idea this is what he did. Dr. Cooper actually specializes in...
Like you said, God's involved in
Oh,
stuff,
God
right?
is definitely involved with this. I mean, this was just a random listing appointment I had. I had no idea who these people were, what they did, and got to talk to them quite a bit, and found out that Dr. Cooper specialized in TBIs and helping people with brain damage, and he uses treatment with infrared laser, light treatment in your head to try kind of regenerate those brain cells that have been damaged and been broken for so long. I mean, I've been playing football since I was in 4th grade. So just,
Right.
I mean, I've probably hit my head tens of thousands of
Yeah,
times.
you can't
I mean,
track that.
I can't even try to count with practices and training and games. And it just kind of worked out. He told me that's what he did. He told me a little bit about his life story and how he went through the treatment.
Because he had
He had 2 or 3 major traumatic brain injuries. He got hit by a drunk driver in a semi when he was riding his bike. He used to do a ton of races with triathlons, and then he ended up getting meningitis in grad school or in medical school. Ended up getting a ton of seizures, and then he ended up one day passing out for heat stroke too and hitting his head. So it got to the point where it was so severe that he had to stop working, and the doctors pretty much said he was a goner until and he just would not refuse to quit. And he found he had some buddies who were experimenting with this infrared light treatment. That infrared light treatment's nothing new, it's been around for a while, but they weren't using it for traumatic brain injuries or to kind of regenerate your cells in your brain. And he went out to Colorado with his buddies that were doing it. He stayed out there for 3 or 4 years, and just the changes in his brain activity from the when I forget what's that. There's some kind of scan you can take. It shows your brain activity, and then
they did probably a CT or MRI.
Yeah, CT and MRI, and just doing the pre and post from when before he had the treatment, after he had the treatment. And he also, his IQ jumped back up. I think he said his IQ jumped back up 29 points from before the treatment back to after the treatment. And he said it changed his life, and he wants to help everybody out there, and that's why he kind of stepped away from being just an MD, and he's starting his own business, trying to help people out.
Yeah, so his brokenness is his passion now.
Yeah.
So he's trying to help people out.
Yeah.
We were talking, and just a lot of people don't know that this is even an option out there. Because it's
Right.
really, what's kind of sad about medical is, using these laser treatments. We have the same exact laser at Buckeye. We don't treat brain injuries with it, but we treat like sciatica and other nerve conditions with it.
Right.
Insurance doesn't cover it because there's no code.
Right.
Because you can't patent it. There's no, and that sounds sad, but I mean, if you can't, if a company can't patent a procedure, there tends not to be a code for it. So unfortunately, I don't think it probably ever will be covered.
Yeah, hopefully not. Hopefully they get it there. I mean, I think they are patented, but it's still so new for treating traumatic brain injuries. It's just hard to, like you said, it's hard to get insurance companies to step up and take care of the bill.
Right. And and the mechanism that whole thing works is with these lasers. What they do, the way I like to explain to people is it's kind of like if you have a plant, and you put a plant light on a plant, we know the plant grows faster because the wavelength of a plant light stimulates the cells of the plant. We're not plants, so a plant light wouldn't work on our brains, unfortunately, right?
Right.
But these lasers, the wavelength that they transmit at, are the wavelengths that stimulate our cells and our nervous system. So we use it. I can think of a patient we had that actually I got introduced to this patient. He came in. He had burning foot pain. He was a police officer and had gotten shot in the butt area, and it damaged his nerves, but it didn't hurt where the bullet went in. But his foot felt like it was on fire all the time. And his first phone call to me was, we do a lot of workers' compensation. He's like, hey, listen, I know you help out the police department. Do you think you can get it approved to get my foot amputated because I can't handle the pain anymore? Wow. Which wouldn't have fixed it because it would have been a phantom pain.
Right,
it wasn't.
Phantom pain problem then at that point.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and the laser that Dr. Cooper has, I have the same exact laser, and literally hadn't used it on one patient yet. And this guy called me.
Yeah.
So I got this new toy, and it's like $45,000 laser. I was like, I can't promise you anything. Why don't you just come on in? It was a Saturday, I think. Come on over, and we'll just try this thing out, man.
Right.
So it was the craziest thing. So he came in, and we did one treatment on this foot pain, and this pain went away for the first time since the injury.
Wow. With
one treatment.
Right.
So the these lasers do work. Like I said, these are high voltage lasers. It's a 60-watt laser for penetration.
Right.
But if you have any type of nerve pain, and you're saying brain, at this time with these concussions, the treatment works because basically it helps regenerate nerve tissue.
Right.
100%. So how many treatments? Let's talk about the protocol of it. So you went there. So you did your MRI, CT. You see the damage.
Right.
And then you go there. How many treatments did you do?
So I think he makes a personal plan for every individual. But for me, I did 24 treatments, broke them to 8 different sessions, so 3 sessions of 8. And I started last November, and I probably finished up in January or February. And I think I noticed a real big difference around treatment 8 to 10. And then what helped what made me feel better about the thing. You know, I'd started noticing things, but you know, you never know if it's just
Placebo
effect or whatever it might be. But when my wife started, you know, telling me I was acting different in a good way, and I was I don't want to say controlling my anger, but I was sharper, I had more energy, I was resting better. And then also my buddy who I work with from day to day, he noticed that I was a lot more sharper and remembering stuff way more often than I used to.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And now you completed treatment there then?
Yeah, I completed treatment.
And then you did a post? Did you take a post?
So really, it doesn't. You can go back from what Dr. Kubi told me. You can go back and get as many treatments after. I go in there every probably a couple weeks, get one treatment just to kind of, I don't know, recharge your batteries.
Yeah.
But you know, I am a big backer. My wife's done it. She helped to get rid of her migraines. I've sent my dad in there, who had some early signs of Alzheimer's, and also went through some hardcore radiation and chemo treatment because he had throat cancer, but he's in remission now, and people at James took great care of him. But we felt like he kind of had chemo brain and radiation brain from all that treatment, and I've noticed a big difference in him, and he's just finishing up his 24 treatments as well.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And I think we got introduced, Travis, who works with us. Like you guys are buddies from high school or something.
Yeah, I've known Travis since elementary school. We used to play football together and run around the football field. So, yeah, I've known Travis for years.
So I think by chance, and then somehow or another, then we got hooked up with Dr. Cooper because, unfortunately, most people that have traumatic brain injuries, it also messes with your endocrine system and your hormonal system.
Right.
And we talked about, you know, you're 30 years old, you look very healthy, but we did a hormone panel on you, and your hormone blood work came back like pretty much like a 70 or 80-year-old man.
Yeah, exactly. My testosterone levels were extremely low. My growth was low, and obviously also my vitamin D was low. So I came to you guys, and we tried to, get working on that and jumpstart it.
Yeah, and we see that a lot in our practice. People that have suffered with concussions in particular, hormone system gets messed up, and it's not an age thing. And there's this misinformation out there that people think they suffer with symptoms like they're tired, don't have drive, we're putting on weight, but they'll say, well, I'm 30, it can't be my age, because you don't have low T until you're like 40 or 50, right?
Right.
It has nothing to do with age.
Right.
It has to do with stress levels. Concussions have a big deal to do with it. Our environment itself, BPA's and plastics, different things. Like there's multiple factors in the environment that can cause your hormones to go down. So if you're having these symptoms, it's very easy to do a blood work. Come get a blood work done, and the blood work never lies. If you have a hormonal issue, it's something we address.
Right, and it's really funny. No, not funny, but my wife competing in some fitness she used to be a fitness, I don't know, not model, but she used to compete in bodybuilding and physique. And I started working with her same trainer. We do weekly updates. I'd do his programs. I'd control my diet. I'd eat exactly what he told me to do. And throughout 6 months, he's like, Jake, something's not right. Like, you should be either losing weight and gaining muscle, or you're just flat out lying to me.
Or you're lying.
Yeah, you're flat out lying to me and not doing what you say you're doing. And I'm like, come on, man. I've played in the NFL, played in college. I know how to work hard. I have a little bit of discipline on my side. And, it took me, and that was probably 2 years ago, and it took me 2 years ago to finally get a blood test. And, he was right. My levels were just all out of whack.
Yeah, that's awesome. So then vitamin D is better, and you're also, I think your growth hormone levels were also low.
Yeah, growth hormones were low, and you guys had got me on some testosterone and some Orlin to help boost that growth, and also vitamin D. And I feel great. I think I'm just about to start my third cycle, and I've been training hard. Well, I'm training the same way I did, but actually seeing the results, which is nice for me because it's been a long time since I've seen those kind of results. And I eat pretty good too. I'm not like a guy going home and housing a pizza or ice cream every night. I eat pretty well, and I'm finally seeing results.
That's awesome. What's the biggest difference you notice from being on hormones for someone who hasn't done hormones? So
I feel like for me, I guess the recovery time with lifting, and also my mental sharpness and sleep. I feel like I'm getting deeper sleep and resting better, and that's probably the biggest difference for me. And then also, like I said, in the weight room, I'm seeing my numbers grow, or seeing my body changing and losing fat around my midsection, which used to be always a problem for me. And that's obviously a huge sign of low T.
Low T and growth hormone.
Right.
I always tell people if you're putting on abdominal fat, that's a telltale sign growth hormone levels are going down.
Right, and that's really the only place I carry fat. So there you go.
Yeah, because you'll see people, they'll be lean everywhere, but they'll have that belly,
right,
and that's growth hormone every single time.
Right.
And we do blood work that shows that, and all the stuff we use is bioidentical. you know, a lot of people are afraid to get on hormones. Number one, and we'll talk about, because I know you want to eventually have kids.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people have a fear you can't get on hormones if you want to have kids, and that's incorrect.
Right.
You know, the way we do people that want to have children is we cycle you on and off your bioidentical hormones. So you do 10 weeks on your hormones, and then we do a 5-week cycle with just HCG, which is a male fertility drug.
Yeah.
And that'll make sure that you're still producing. You're still able to have children. You know, once you're done with your kids, then we do it a little different way.
Right.
But just because someone still wants to have kids does not mean you can't be on hormones.
Right.
That's safe and effective. And with the bioidenticals, there are no side effects. We're simply replacing what your body doesn't produce anymore. We don't use anything synthetic. And I think a lot of people out there, you know, think, oh, they're steroids or they're dangerous.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's not. You know, a steroid is a drug that mimics your own hormones.
Right.
There's side effects to those things.
Right.
But with bioidenticals, we simply look at your blood work and restore you to what a normal 25 to 30-year-old healthy male should be.
Right.
So you have that energy, the drive. You know, and the sleep is a huge deal.
Oh yeah.
You know, and that's one of the telltale times if someone has low hormones. If you have a hard time falling asleep or wake up in the middle of the night or just don't feel rest in the morning, 9 times out of 10 it's going to be your hormonal system.
Right. Something's not right. Right.
Yeah, and then how about injuries too? So you have injuries.
Yeah, I've had 2 shoulder surgeries and I think 3 knee surgeries from playing football in the NFL.
Because you blew your knee out. We talked about that a little bit.
Yeah, in 2011 season, 2012 Super Bowl in Indianapolis. I blew my knee out
In the Super Bowl.
in in Indianapolis playing the Patriots, and I was running a route. It was about 10-yard in. Brandon Spikes was covering me. I cut right, and my left knee kind of got stuck in the turf, or my toe, or my foot, I guess, and just kind of quick pain. Tore my ACL on the field, and unfortunately, I was. Everybody thought it was just my meniscus. They did the knee stability test, and obviously my quad's firing because I've been playing football for the last 3 hours, so it was holding my knee in place. But unfortunately, my ACL was not there, and I went on the sidelines and tried to go back in because they just told me it was my meniscus, and I'm running around. And at one point, they're like, okay. I was like, I told them it didn't feel right running around. They're like, well, try and stop. See if you can plan on your bad leg or that leg. Which was terrible.
Terrible advice.
I've done it a million times, so I'm like, okay, well, we'll see. So I go to play on my left leg, not having ACL. My femoral heads hit each other and took off a huge piece of cartilage. It's probably the worst pain I've ever felt. And I didn't find it. So then I got carted off the field, went in the locker room. No MRI machine in Indianapolis. They just took an X-ray, which doesn't tell you anything. Right. Then eventually I got golf carted back on the field and watched the final play. We won the Super Bowl. Had a great time that night, but here I am sitting with, in a ton of knee pain, not really knowing what's going on. I didn't find out I tore my ACL and had that cartilage damage until I flew back to New Jersey the next day. So I got off the plane from just winning the Super Bowl. I go straight to the hospital. Right. And then I had to go to the hospital, get an MRI. And I'll never forget the doctor walking in with his head down, just like, because he's like, well, it's your ACL, and there's actually some cartilage damage here, and it was a rough day.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you got your ring.
I got my ring. Yeah. And having the Super Bowl ring, I think there's only just under 3,000 players who even ever have a Super Bowl ring. So it's quite an accomplishment. But I feel like right now, since I'm still kind of young, I could still be playing. It makes me always wonder if I didn't get hurt. But when I'm 50, 60-year-old man, I'll definitely look back on the fond memories a little more.
That's awesome. We talked a little bit. You had done some placental tissue into your knee.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit before the show, and at the time you had that done, that was the best technology out there. But
right.
Placental tissue doesn't have any live cells. I'm going to have you come in. We're going to put some real stem cells in your knee.
Okay, sounds good to me.
Yeah. We're going to use some cord tissue with real cells because that will actually regrow tissue.
All right.
The placental tissue you use, it's an analgesic. You get some pain relief, but you won't really get any tissue growth.
Yeah.
And it sounds like I haven't seen your X-ray of your knee, but it sounds like there's some pretty extensive tissue damage in there.
Yeah, I'm probably almost bone on bone on my medial side, on my left leg, and pretty big defect.
Well, if we use the umbilical cord tissue, that'll fill that defect right back in.
Well, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, so we'll have you come back on another show with that one.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So, well, I really appreciate you coming on today. Definitely some interesting stories. You got to wear the ring next time, though.
Next time I'll bring the ring. Just show everybody. So.
And then one more time, if someone wants to get a hold of you for real estate, one more time.
Yeah, if you want to get a hold of me from real estate, probably easiest way is just actually give me a call. My number is 614-981-8247, or check out my Facebook, Jake Ballard, or Instagram, Jake Ballard RE, and I'd love to help you out. And I've been doing it for a long time, and I can help either sell or buy your house.
Sounds great. Thanks so much.
All right.
Until next time.
Thanks, Dr. Buzz. Cool.
Yeah, so I'll have